What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
Welcome to the show.
What is going on? Welcome to another great week. Again, if you're tuning in, Monday and Tuesday are our topics, Wednesday's discussion. Thursday, sometimes we have an Ask CSP, say sometimes. Sometimes. I haven't had one in a couple of weeks, but Ask CSP is where we talk to somebody who's trying to come into the cybersecurity career field. So usually have really good discussion with those people who are looking to break in. And then Friday, we talk about everything else. So whatever movies, TV shows, what have you, books, plays, I guess. When y'all went to go see a play, we can talk about that. We talk about everything but cyber on those episodes. Definitely continue to like, share, subscribe. I never say that enough. Please like, share, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. We've surpassed over 8,000 plays, I want to say, on Anchor. So we're getting up there. So you don't have to be current. You can go back and listen to some of our older stuff too. Boost those numbers. It will be good to go. But without further ado, I give it to LeVon.
Yes, sir. Yeah, today we have an article from the infosecurity.com or infosecurity magazine.com. This is from Sarah Cobble, and it's in regards to a fertility clinic that got hit by some ransomware. And this fertility clinic is called Extend Fertility Clinic out of New York City. And they actually started notifying their patients that personal data may have been compromised and possibly stolen during the recent cyber attack. And this facility actually specializes in IVF and freezing eggs and embryos. It looks like it was hit on December 2021. And they actually hired a third-party digital forensic specialist to determine the incident's nature and scope. But it looks like it was on December 20th, 2021, and they discovered a ransomware incident that impacted their networks and servers, which contain protected health and personal information on some of their patients. After discovering the incident, they quickly took steps to secure and safely restore all systems and operations. And essentially, they identified that a lot of protected PHI and personal data from some of their patients was compromised. These criminals had access to this data, and some of the information that they identified that was compromised in the incident was first name, last name, gender, home address, phone numbers, emails, date of birth, medical history, diagnosis and treatment information, data service, lab test results, prescription information, provider name, medical account number, and financial information. So obviously this is a big concern. Obviously we've been seeing a lot of these ransomware incidents take place across the country. It seems like these cyber criminals have no boundaries of as far as what they'll go after. This is kind of concerning as well for people that obviously have spent time here. I can imagine in a worst case situation that one of these cyber criminals, not only are they going to go after the facility, but they may go after the people, whether it's going to be identity theft, or they may even use that as some sort of ransomware against them. Hey, if you don't give us some money, we'll release some of this information that we have about your personal medical history that maybe people don't want to know. Maybe if you had a celebrity or some government official that went to this location and they didn't want to keep the information secret, and then all of a sudden they're hey, we got this information about you, may use it against you, if you don't give us a bunch of money. So it's one of those situations. Obviously, it's a big issue. It looks like the clinic took some of the steps they needed to resolve it. They got the information. I got the facility, the environment secured again, as well as they're offering complimentary credit monitoring and identity protection services to individuals that are impacted are involved in the incident. So they're trying to look out for the customers, look out for the patients, make sure that they're secure and safe. But with that, Shannon, do you have some thoughts on this one?
So I do. So first off, notice the over-exaggerated eye roll, right? When it comes to the identity protection, it's oh, bro, I'm a T-Mobile customer. I've had that 3 times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What does that do for me? So no, this sucks, right? But let's be honest here, right? And I don't want to downplay the severity of this, but when when this was a bigger deal and when they got more people was when they got Experian, right? Remember when they had the Experian leak and it was all those 100
Right.
million people or whatever it was, right?
Right.
Like, so I mean, that stuff is already out there for a lot of these people, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, that's not that big a deal. What would probably worry me more if I was a customer is if they got into the systems that they're using for like freezing, you know, these embryos or sperm or whatever they're doing, right, at the facility, that like stuff that's controlling that's climate controlling like tissue samples or whatever they do, right? I'm not very familiar with what they're doing at a fertility clinic, but that would worry me a little bit more, right? The fact that they got in this far, it's like, okay, well, now tighten up, right? Because now I run the risk of, you know, if I'm a woman that has eggs there, I run the risk of losing my eggs. You know what I mean? A man that has sperm there, I run the risk of losing that. You know what I'm saying? That seems like the bigger concern to me. But again, with the information being leaked, man, that's an everyday thing. Like I said, I'm a T-Mobile customer, so it's like my stuff has been out there. I was in the military. They had a breach years ago. You know what I mean? I got the letter for that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, offering me identity protection, I mean, that's cool, right? Because I'm not going to say there's not people. This is in New York City, right? So New York City is what, 9 million people or something like that total. Not everybody is at this fertility clinic, mind you, right? But it's a large city, and it probably have a lot of people using those services. But yeah, man, I'd be more worried if they got control of the systems, the climate control systems, or something like that. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, this is still terrible, right? Because you don't want people's information to get leaked. Like LeVon alluded to, like it can go beyond just identity theft. Maybe they want to use some of this information to harm people and their reputations or what have you, or something else that's nefarious. So that is unfortunate. Good thing they caught it before it got too bad. I don't think they gave out percentages of how many people's stuff leaked and whatnot. But in order to give people the LifeLock or whatever protections they gave them, I'm sure they had to identify certain accounts were touched. But yeah, PHI is definitely it's not protected, I believe, to the fullest extent that it should be. I know that there's a lot of buzz in our industry about pursuing those certifications. Like I think IC Squared has the health security certification, or the HCI SPP. And I was thinking about looking into something like that, just because I don't think they have enough professionals on that side protecting hospitals. Like I know there's a big push over in the UK. I was in one of their clubhouses where they're really pushing hard. Like we need to bring people in for the National Health Organization, because like their stuff is socialized, right? So a lot of the same apparatus or same agency takes care of a lot of the health concerns and what have you. So they're trying to pull in a lot of cybersecurity professionals. And they actually remarked how the US kind of pushes CISP kind of hard. We might want to look at getting something similar to that. But I guess they don't go as hard for the IC Squared certs as we do, right? So they kind of touched on it, but most of their stuff had to do with just years of experience in the field as well as degrees. So they're also trying to bolster theirs, but in the US, a lot of our stuff is private. So you have to find somebody for each of these organizations, maybe a CISO or VCISO or a BISO or somebody protecting that information. So it's definitely interesting. Like hopefully these people don't see any second or third order effects. Like you said, it would have been kind of crazy if they would have gotten to the SCADA, I think, systems and adjusted their environmental controls. So that's, yeah, I would like to say that's a little too nefarious, but you can't put anything past people, right? That people are can be terrible. But in this case, I think they just wanted to steal people's stuff so they can run up their credit, things of that nature. So still terrible, but not as bad as it could have been. So
at this point in time, though, you got to start like I'm starting to think they're just running across duplicates at this point, right? They're like,
oh yeah, I can't use
already
that
got that person. Yeah,
like, yeah, we already got them. You know what I mean? Like it's happening so often now. It's crazy.
Right. I'm sure there's an underground market for it, right? They probably have like Excels and databases and stuff like that. Like, oh, this one, I can only sell this one for a quarter because we've used this one like 30 times. This is a T-Mobile customer. I mean, if you're on the same roster as T-Mobile as the ones they stole, they'd be like, that one ain't really worth nothing.
That's right.
We'll just remove duplicates from these lists and just merge and remove duplicates and go with that, right?
That's right.
It's only like 30 people on this list, you know.
Right.
Terrible.
Now, let's have like a little extra. extra
Go ahead,
column with
LeVon.
their that's the extra column with their PHI information on it. Like, well, this person has a heart disease or whatever,
Right. Right. And yeah, and all that stuff. So because I know that can harm somebody for employment, right? Like some people might not want to pick you up. They know you're going to be more expensive for the healthcare plan or what have you. So it can also hurt you in that regard. So you just don't want your stuff out there, if at all possible. But again, it just comes down to hiring the right people, putting the right positions. Luckily, they caught it. And then hopefully in the future, they have a little bit more defense in depth or something like whatever, because they don't really explain how they got in, right? They just know that they got in. So whatever vulnerability they found, hopefully they've secured it, and anything else in the future they could be vulnerable, right? They need to also start mitigating those risks. But with that being said, another great episode. Definitely tune in. Tuesday's another topic, Wednesday's discussion. Friday, we will have everything else. Hit up our videos can be found on, because I'm trying to shift. So I'm thinking about getting rid of the website. So continue to listen to the podcast on the platform of choice. You can watch our videos on YouTube as well as LinkedIn and Spotify, video and audio. My name is Rai Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, TikTok, and you, LeVon?
Yeah, you can hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. Stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.